Hi everyone and welcome back to Projectotron, the prediction site with a difference. We're looking at the last semi-final between Argentina and the Netherlands. Up for grabs is the final place in the World Cup final. Rory, what can you tell us?
I can tell you that this has a really nice ring to it. Argentina and Netherlands. This is a game with two teams who are historically, happy to put the boot in.
Yes.
So I'm really looking forward to it. I mean teams because one thing that's really struck me at this competition is the passion that Messi has shown. I'm not saying he doesn't care about it when he plays for Barcelona, but in this World Cup he has been flying in with tackles, he's been darting in, he's been hassling everyone, and you can see when he scores just how much it means to him.
He's looked a man on a mission.
There's something really special about him in this World Cup. However, he's coming up against arguably the most pragmatic team in the competition here. I mean, we saw it with Holland in the quarter-final against Costa Rica when Tim Krul came on the 121st minute as a substitute for the penalty shootout. That this Holland team are really, really designed to be flexible and to shake things up, and they're not scared to go at any team to make big decisions and really, really, really go for it 110%. So I found this one incredibly, incredibly difficult to separate. But this whole competition, I've been saying, I said it on the podcast, said it on all the videos, never bet against Messi, especially not the way he's looked in this competition. He's been terrific. He's been one of the standout players of the tournament, maybe the standout player. He's in terrific form, and I think he is ultimately what's going to make the difference. Now, that's not to say this is going to be easy for Argentina. They've won every game so far by one goal. They've generally dominated possession in all their games, and they've been playing below themselves, but still managed to get through. Now they're missing Di Maria, who's been arguably the second best player in the tournament.
That's fair.
It may actually play into their hands in that Di Maria does take an awful lot of shots by himself, and it may be actually more conducive to the team to actually play a ball, to square a ball, than to give it to Di Maria, who's pretty handy at shooting, and hope for a goal. So, but the Netherlands don't need a lot of the ball to actually go and score a goal either. It's going to be so tight. This is going to be the better semi-final. This is the one I'm most excited about. So I think Argentina are going to win this one, but I think it's going to go all the way. I think this is going to be 1-1 after full time, and I think it's going to go to penalties. I see Argentina going through on penalties, but the way Tim Krul played against Costa Rica, they're going to need to be perfect.
Yeah. I think I was really interested when I saw Krul coming on, because there'd been, whispers of him warming up and Holland still hadn't made their third substitution, and then sure enough he comes on. I was really hoping Van Gaal would just hang his balls out there and make Krul take the first penalty for Holland, just to completely blow Costa Rica's minds.
Oh yeah, that would have been 3-0, you won the penalty shootout.
Yeah, that would have been fantastic. Yeah. Unfortunately it wasn't to be, but still, pretty good mind job.
Yeah, I mean, you really got to admire the way Krul went about things. He was incredibly intimidating. I'm surprised he didn't get sent off.
He could have got himself booked for some of his
interference. It was ridiculous. I think the referee should have at least booked him. Yeah. But sure, I don't think any referee has the stones to send off a keeper in that position, so it wasn't going to happen.
He would have had to have karate kicked somebody.
Yeah, eventually.
And Nigel de Jong wasn't playing against.
It's true. Essentially, it was Van Gaal saying to Tim Krul, go out there and cause some, mayhem, and it totally worked. He dived the right way for every single penalty. He's not going to play in this game. No, there will be Cillessen back in, and I think we don't see too much of Cillessen, being mainly Premier League watchers. I don't anyway. But Tim Krul has been exceptional for Newcastle. I'm not sure why Cillessen starts ahead of him. Obviously, Van Gaal is a better manager than I am.
I think one of the reasons Cillessen starts ahead of him is because of the plethora of Eredivisie-based defenders in front of him.
More familiar.
Yeah. But there's also simply the fact that Cillessen, well, he hasn't been very impressive. He hasn't done a lot wrong either.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
And I think that Van Gaal now, certainly he's not going to start Krul. It's not going to happen.
No, but if it does get to that situation,
if it does get to penalties and they're 118 minutes in and he still has one substitution left, that will be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I think that this is going to be a really exciting game as well. I think the Dutch are definitely going to score. The main outlet for them is Arjen Robben.
Mm-hmm.
And the main weakness for Argentina has been at left back defensively. Now, in their defence, Basant came in and played really, really well against Belgium. He was really impressive. And I'm not sure that there's enough cover in front of the back four to block off the space that Robben goes into when he cuts in from the left. You often see the better teams that Robben plays against, when he cuts in from the left, he also has to cut about 5 or 6 yards deep before he's onto his left foot in enough of an angle to take those crisp 30-yarders that he likes to fling at keepers. And that's usually when he's least effective. As you point out, the lack of Di Maria might be beneficial insofar as they'll probably be forced to start Gago and Bilia in central midfield, who are very much in the holding midfielder mould. And if they do that, they'll be occupying all the space that the Dutch like to ping the balls into for Robben and for Van Persie to come into. And so I can see them being troubled that way, but I still think the Dutch are going to score. However, Argentina have more firepower, I think, than the Dutch. And it doesn't seem to matter who they put up there, whether they start with Higuain, with Palacio, with Lavezzi, or maybe if Aguero's fit, then Aguero might make his return for this game. All of these are fantastic options to have, and behind them you still have Leo Messi.
That's true, and also the one thing to look at as well is Argentina have been winning every game by just one goal.
You only need to win by one goal.
You only need to win by one goal, and Netherlands have their scoring has gently been reducing throughout the tournament, because they obviously started off hot against Spain.
Yeah.
Then they scored 3 against Australia, which, that's no problem. 2 against Chile. Then they got 2 against Mexico, including that very last second penalty. None against Costa Rica. I'm not saying they're going to score inverse goals in this.
No, they're probably not going to score just own goals.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be a score fest either, despite the fact that there are question marks over the Argentine defence and the fact that the Argentine forward line has so much firepower.
Well, you've called it 1-1 after 90 minutes. I'm going a little bit further. I say Argentina are going to win it in 90 minutes, and I think they'll win it 2-1.
Okay.
I can see them just having enough to take the Dutch apart. I can see the Dutch getting an early goal and Argentina coming back at them and then really, really turning the screw as the game progresses. The wild card is Van Gaal.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he can come up with some sort of a way to close down and stop Messi, all bets are off. Unfortunately, all bets won't actually be off. We will still lose our money. I'll certainly lose my money on the 2-1. But if Van Gaal can come up with some sort of magician way to stop Messi, then the Dutch have a chance of winning it. But I see Argentina 2-1 normal time.
Would you say Van Gaal has been the coach of the tournament so far? In that he's been most willing to adapt and to change tactics and to not be afraid to make the big decisions. I mean, the cruel one, obviously, is the standout.
I would say up until the quarterfinals, I would have said Wilmots had been the coach of the tournament, because every one of his substitutions were worked out perfectly. And he adapted to every game, every situation that was thrown up against him. He adapted to every game. The one thing he couldn't adapt to was Messi. So if Van Gaal can make that leap and do what Wilmots couldn't, then I'll give him coach of the tournament. You can have it.
Fair enough.
What about Projectotron?
Projectotron also sees it going 1-1, albeit in a completely different manner than I did. I saw a very, very end-to-end game with Argentina taking the lead after a Silicon mistake. Would you believe it?
I wouldn't believe it.
Well,
if I didn't see it with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe it.
There we go. And Argentina will then concede a goal to Arjen Robben, who runs about the length of 8 football pitches past not only the entire Argentina team but also the entire Argentina support. He runs halfway up the continent of South America and then slams a ball past Romero. It's an absolutely incredible goal to bring it to extra time and penalties, of which there will be 10 apiece. Argentina and Holland forcing up 10 penalties each, with Martin Di Michela scoring the final goal for Argentina.
Okay, so there you have it. Rory and Projectotron both calling it a 1-1 draw with Argentina to progress on penalties, and I'm going with a 2-1 win for Argentina in 90 minutes. Don't forget to join us for the 3rd, 4th place playoff and our final predictions coming up. Enjoy the football.